And now here is Paul A. Ibbetson, the czar of radio coolness.
Shame. We have no more sense of shame in America. It used to be that if you went out and you did terrible things that violated our cultural values, the Judeo-Christian values of this country, you were shunned. You were an outcast. You were separated and filled with shame by the populace. We don't have that anymore. It doesn't matter whether it's teen pregnancy, drug abuse, profanity in television. There is no longer any sense of shame. Now, what has replaced the sense of shame? The need to accord yourself properly. Because if you don't, you will be treated as an outcast. Excuses. What we are now is a nation of excuses. If you get pregnant when you're a teenager, it's because of peer pressure. You couldn't help it. All those societal values, all those pressures of society lead you to do it. Well, if you are violent and you go out and hurt people, it's not that you're doing wrong. The idea of evil doesn't even exist today. If you are evil, we call it a psychosis. You have something wrong with your head. Maybe you didn't have good parents. Maybe the family didn't provide you with a dog as a boy, and so now you go out to murder. When we look at this guy in Aurora, Colorado that killed all these people at the Batman movie, and I'm going to follow what a lot of other conservative talk hosts have done, and I'm not going to give his name out there. And the reason I'm not doing that is because I think a guy like this is out there and his actions show that he wanted to be famous. But you won't hear that from the left. You're not going to hear that when his trial comes up and they try to give him a lethal injection or the death penalty. You're going to hear lawyers come up and say, no, this guy's a victim of society, or more probably, there are a few loose marbles. So he shouldn't even feel any shame. Society shouldn't shun him, shouldn't ostracize those that go out and kill for fame, to get on the map so people will look at me. I wouldn't kill people. They're going to say there's something wrong with him and that we should pity him, that we should try to find what was wrong, feel sorry for what was wrong. Maybe even society should make an apology for what didn't go right in his life, and let's try to mend him. We didn't used to think that way. That wasn't the way society was set up. Society was not offender-based in the criminal justice system. It was victim-based. While the focus should be solely on all those people that died, all those brave young men that covered their girlfriends where bullets were being pumped into them by this fool. We don't spend very much time there. All those that tried to give aid and help others who are actually heroes, the police that came put their lives on the line to take down this guy, they're little blips on the radar. A little mention here, a little mention there, a little feel-good story while we get to our main segment, while we try to analyze the killer, while we try to figure out what was going on in his head. Did he read Catcher in the Rye before his shooting? Did he have a workplace grievance before he went to kill people? And if he did, well, that must have been the problem. He had an analyst. He had a shrink. Well, that's proof positive that he should be, if not acquitted, sent to a mental facility to be given Valium until he's okay again. I don't believe this, and we have an article today from Newsmax magazine from a Dr. G.H. King, G. Heath King, who's a psychoanalyst, who says this guy's not crazy. He's not insane. He is just a celebrity wannabe. In this article in Newsmax, Dr. King says that this shooter doesn't fit the profile for those that are detached from reality. Now, how is that so? Most people say that can't be. He went in there and killed all these people. It's fantastical. Nobody would do that. We can't even fathom going in and killing little babies, little children, pumping them full of bullets. That's got to be a crazy person. But the legal definition and how we look at that today, we look at the mens rea, the guilty mind, when you go to court to see if someone is fit for trial and whether or not at the time of their actions they were of sound mind, and can they be tried and punished based on that. And the mens rea, or the guilty mind, says that this shooter was well aware of what he was doing. Why? Because he planned it well ahead of time. He didn't run into this theater with a baseball bat saying, I'm a chicken, because he snapped momentarily. He went in well prepared with weapons that were loaded, with clips that were loaded, with this gas device that he threw out into the crowd. He was set with prepared speeches that he gave during the time of the shooting, during his arrest, all mimicking this Joker, which he had analyzed thoroughly and that he wanted to emulate and be known for. Why? Because that would meet the fame criteria that this guy wanted to get. He wasn't someone living on the streets. This person was educated. He was smart. He was intelligent. He could process and had processed advanced educational courses. Well, he may have fell on some bad times. He may have not studied properly and had some issues in which he dropped out. Life may not have been rosy. But this guy, according to G. Heath King, psychoanalyst, former professor of interdisciplinary studies at Yale University, this guy is not insane. And therefore, if he's not insane, he should face the full punishment for his actions. Well, what is the full punishment? Well, obviously, we can never restore the victims. You can't bring dead people back to life. You can't bring dead loved ones back to their families, their moms, their dads, their brothers, their sisters, husbands and wives. You can never restore them. So punitive damage or punishment for punishment's sake, which is part of our criminal justice system, we're never going to be able to meet that adequately. We're never going to be able to bring justice fully. We can only give the best that we can give. And in my opinion, the best that we can give is that this individual who planned for his own self-fulfillment, his own self-aggrandizement, to be raised to a celebrity level that would make him feel good, even if his feeling good seems alien to most people, he should pay the ultimate punishment. He should have to sacrifice his life, that we shouldn't have to pay for years and years of maintaining him, feeding him, making sure he gets the rest of his college degrees while inside, and a proper diet and cable television. We should give him the death penalty. And you know, if we give him the death penalty, there'll be those that will scream of the injustice, that we're being as bad as this shooter. But that's laughable. That's laughable to anyone with a heart, with a soul, with compassion, with an intellect. Because he, if he's given the death penalty, if he's given lethal injection to violin music after a last meal, after getting to meet with his family, and to square himself away would be a delicacy, is a present compared to what he gave to these folks that went to go see a movie with family and friends and were killed. People that had done nothing wrong. There is no justice we can bring except if we allow people like this shooter that want to be celebrities, want to be on the list of famous or infamous killers so they'll be remembered. If we allow them to slip through the cracks and not face the most potent punishment we have. This guy killed these people in Aurora, Colorado, should be given the death penalty. It's justice. It's the right thing to do.